And we are live. What's up, guys? If you're watching this after the live stream is finished, then I would recommend you just jump forward a couple of minutes, because that's the point where we actually have some questions. And I'm gonna answer questions. So just looking for something. Okay, Michael, tell me a little bit about the different forms of Rhodiola Rosea. Is there a difference between the Rhodiola crenulata versus the 3% rosavins or the 3% salidroside? And I would say no. Haven't found any difference whatsoever. I had like pretty high expectations with the crenulata, but then you start to realize it's a trending thing. It's hyped up. It's new. People like new, thinking that there's something maybe better. But I stuck to the original form, the crenulata. It still did give me the same effects you would expect from Rhodiola Rosea, as far as fighting off fatigue, like mental clarity, really helping you with your work ethic. But I personally just didn't find it as effective as the original forms, specifically the 3% salidroside. What's up, guys? Do nootropics work if the gut is damaged? Like, to some extent, of course, you want to do whatever you can to improve your gut health. Take probiotics, of course, make sure that you know your diet. And you got to really be mindful of like what foods you respond well to. There's foods which can cause an inflammatory, response that obviously you want to avoid. So take some time, and of course, may make for you to be a bit regimented with your schedule, which nobody likes to do, right? What's up, guys? Oh man, this is great. This is great. Ask me about anything except for building muscle, since you can see I don't really know how to do that too well. I've still got a low thyroid, so I meet with my endocrinologist once every 6 months, get blood work done. Last time I found that my T3 levels were normal, but my T4 was a little bit low. And it's just a never-ending pursuit, because people don't realize, like, when your thyroid is actually low, it does prevent you from building muscle. Actually, it does a lot more than slow down your metabolism. How many milligrams of lion's mane and Alpha GPC should I take in the morning with L-tyrosine? 500 milligrams of lion's mane, assuming it's the 1-to-1 extract or the 8-to-1 extract, that's considered a good serving size. I don't often see people take any more of that. 500 milligrams is enough. A smaller dosage would be 300 milligrams, maybe if you're just super sensitive to nootropics or you're scared when you shouldn't be, right? That's with the lion's mane. Alpha GPC, 150 milligrams. That's typically how you're going to find the capsules, like on Nootropics Depot. You can try a smaller dose, like 100 milligrams. At times, you're using it with L-tyrosine, there's a chance maybe you're taking it pre-workout. So for that purpose, maybe you can get away with taking more Alpha GPC. I've seen people even take like 300 milligrams or more of Alpha GPC if they're using it for that intended benefit with working out. And I didn't take enough Alpha GPC today. So today I use modafinil and phenylpiracetam. And it's probably the first time I've used it in about 10 or 11 days, and I'm actually feeling it more. It's very interesting as far as like recall. I'm able to remember things a lot faster during conversations. Like, I was talking to somebody and I remember that he had something happening December 16th, and I told him, and he's like, you get those moments like, how did I remember that? So it's interesting, and with you use stimulants, and not only do they physically energize you, but your recall is good. You can storytell. You can just easily connect the dots. But with stimulants, your judgment is, of course, a bit offset. So what you want to do is, prior to the day of using something like modafinil or phenylpiracetam, just be super clear on what your tasks are to do, because then comes the day you're on modafinil and you don't know what to do, and there's so many options and you're overwhelmed that it just ends up being an unproductive day. Anyway, have I heard of Hydra 21? I have heard of it. I have not yet tried it. Let's see what makes out with that. And I've used 9-MEBC, used bromantane recently. I also tried horny goat weed from Nootropics Depot. I've used horny goat weed in the past. Didn't notice much from it. So I'm not like I would say I'm not too pleased with some of the newer nootropics in 2022 anyway. I've stuck with using Cistanche, but that was introduced to 2021 on Nootropics Depot anyway. But what do you guys think? Like, looking back at this year, was there any newer nootropic that you really like? Maybe it worked well for you. If anything, I've started to incorporate using dynamine here and there, which is a replacement, you can say, to caffeine. I like that it physically energizes you, and I don't get as much you could say, like, brain fog or that caffeine crash, while still actually using something to help me with physical energy. So I'm liking that. Best/favorite Racetam, it would be piracetam, for the simple sake of it's reliable. I've used it almost every day since 2014 or 2015. At least 90% of the days of the year, I've used piracetam. So I like the fact that it's reliable, and it's also that with the other Racetams, like oxyracetam and aniracetam, it's like they just don't work as well if you're not using them with piracetam in the first place. It's very interesting. A lot of other people, a lot of people that are into nootropics for productivity and they're expecting to whatever, make more money, get better grades, and they don't use the Racetam. It's like, that's crazy. The Racetams got me interested in nootropics to begin with, because you just notice your work ethic. It's not a little bit ahead, it's miles ahead. You won't recognize your former self if you're just patient with that process and you can assess things properly and objectively, right? So maybe that one. And I think my second best would probably be Racetam. I like the fact that it helps with verbal fluency, social anxiety, all that, right? I've been taking, but on that point about verbal fluency and social anxiety, people need to understand, yes, my conversational skills are like better and they continue to grow. And is that because of the Racetams? Like, probably not. I'm in a sales job. I present for a living. I've been a real estate agent almost 10 years now. All that you have to do is you're basically paid to blah, 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 blah. So combine that with the Racetams, good things happen. And yeah, if you're an aspiring real estate agent or you're a real estate agent, make sure to contact me. You can Instagram DM me and learn more about my training. I've been taking ashwagandha and phosphatidylserine for a few weeks, and I don't feel much of a difference in stress management. Will it take more time? You're probably not using it enough. With ashwagandha, for most people anyway, or maybe myself, like 7 to 10 days, you start to notice something. Has a very long half-life, ashwagandha. So the ideal way of taking it is actually using something like 8 a.m. and then again at 8 p.m., which nobody wants to do. So I would say space it out. And phosphatidylserine, I've never seen too much of a benefit using that for stress management. Like more so just in the moment. It's not a supplement which you would take for a few weeks and notice a difference. It's like you kind of feel it or you don't, if that makes sense. You'll be more likely to find it working if you're sleep deprived, or that's been the case for me. So another or a couple other ones you can consider using: Bacopa Mineri, great for stress management. Take 500 milligrams of Bacopa Mineri. I would consider substituting that for phosphatidylserine. Maybe add Rhodiola Rosea, add 500 milligrams, and you use that. You should notice something. If not, then yeah. And then you said KSM 66 4 times a day. Okay, cool. So if you're like just like a non-responder to specific nootropics, like that's okay, right? You just move on to something else. So my question really for people that just mentioned things not working, things aren't working, I would ask you, like, what is working, right? Because once you find something that actually works with your system, then you maybe you can find some nootropics in that specific category that can better help you. And I hope that's helpful. The nameless critic, let's go. Phosphatidylserine or 5-HTP or Tongkat Ali for cortisol reducement and anger management, getting mad by simple things. There's only one from this list, and it would be phosphatidylserine. I highly recommend it, but double the dose if you're not noticing much from it. Like, it's pretty much, I would say, side effect free. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but side effect free. So that one's really been the case for me. You can take it like, you know, when do we get irritable? And most people get irritable when they're hungry. And you use something like phosphatidylserine when you're hungry, and you just notice the irritability is basically gone. You get an extra couple of hours working. Let's say it's just, you know, late night right before dinner. The other one you can consider taking is L-tyrosine. 5-HTP, you get a little, like, you get a mood boost, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it reduces irritability. And I also like the fact that with phosphatidylserine, if you get it from Nootropics Depot, it's actually in the soft gel. So you're consuming some calories as well. So what if it breaks your fast? You're just going to be more likely to reduce irritability that way. And for cortisol reducement, yeah, sorry, I'm talking more about irritability, but that's just what it's reminding me about. As far as reducing your cortisol levels, ashwagandha, phosphatidylserine, there's pretty much nothing else that I've seen work or in research. Taking things that stimulate dopamine massively, and now I'm getting super mad over simple things. That's okay. Sometimes you got to get mad, you know? Like, you know, one of your competitors is crushing it in business. Get mad, man. Get mad. Let's go. It's December 1st. Or it's December 1st here anyway. Guys, is this helpful? You guys getting value out of this? I hope so. Is there anything you would recommend to take for the caffeine withdrawal period? Okay, if you want to say stimulant-free, right, then using some of the lighter things like Racetam, Noopept, Alpha GPC, that's good. Using L-tyrosine, that'll give you like a boost. But with L-tyrosine, use it a couple times during the day because, yeah, it's a short, it's a short-lasting 60 to 90-minute boost. You can consider taking something like Dynamine, which is also a stimulant, or theocrine, also a stimulant. I made a video talking about replacements for caffeine, or excuse me, alternatives to caffeine, of which I listed a few over there. But then again, those are stimulants as well. Just because maybe they may work on different neurotransmitters or whatever, it's still a stimulant, and I would imagine that you're getting off of caffeine for that specific purpose. But you may want to look at those two nootropics. Ephedrine maybe as well. Ephedrine's just very light, but I like using ephedrine for studying back in my studying days, like 10 plus years ago, because what's so is you can use it later in the day and still be able to sleep. And I noticed, I was able to kind of interchange both of them. I'm playing with my big fat lap hog right now. Cool. I've been taking CDP Choline 250 milligrams daily. Is it safe to increase the dose? I've been advised against doing this due to the long-term half-life possibility over the accumulation of choline. I wouldn't be concerned about it. Same thing with Alpha GPC. But then again, like there's that one study talking about how high or choline use can be linked with a higher likelihood of dementia, Alzheimer's. But I don't know. The study was very broad. We would need more research. Just personally, I'm not concerned with it. I've been using choline 2 to 3 times a day for many, many years, and I haven't really found any negative things happen. And unfortunately, guys, that's just the world of nootropics, and maybe why this channel does well. You're just basically collecting anecdotes, and then you're trying it with yourself, and then you look up nootropics and see some research, and there's nothing's conclusive, right? But CDP choline is a great alternative if you're somebody that doesn't respond that well to Alpha GPC. Why did I skip your comment? Because I don't know, your comment didn't have a question. Okay, how do you get over the anxiousness of trying new things? Ooh. Excite yourself with the award and the bigger picture, and just be mindful, like as long as you're taking something which looks somewhat credible, you can look it up, and you're not, terrified with horrific experiences. Or like you look up kratom. I looked up kratom, and there's a whole Reddit subreddit about quitting kratom. I'm like, man, you got to know what you're taking. Once you know what you're taking, and you can like categorize it, is it an everyday nootropic? Is it an emergency nootropic, right? And then you can just better recognize this. Like I'm personally and I'm not anxious, but I also respond pretty well to nootropics. I've never had like really negative side effects by any means from using anything. If anything, maybe like the time when I mixed modafinil with Yohimbine, I did feel really bad. Like my heart rate excessive, right? I mixed phenibut with modafinil as well, thinking that phenibut would help me to lower my heart rate. That didn't happen. Phenibut actually increases your heart rate. Modafinil increases your heart rate. Yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling anyway. So my point being is, these things don't happen. Don't worry, man. You got to move forward, right? We're all living in our comfort zone. Got to get out of that, right? Cool. What else, guys? Hey, we're not getting enough questions. We gotta get some more questions. Otherwise, I gotta get back in the comments. This is like a one-on-one with the nameless critic. Let's go. Is it safe to take a variety of adaptogens at once? Example: ashwagandha, Bacopa, Rhodiola Rosea, adaptogenic mushrooms. That is a great question. So is it safe to mix the adaptogens? And the way you want to approach that is try them one at a time. More so just be mindful of, like, sometimes there is one nootropic which really does result in you having negative side effects. Like people have used ashwagandha, they've got acne everywhere. And for that reason, of course, don't use it. So I would say just start with one of them. You can take the delayed approach, which is just trying them for a week each, like independently. You try Bacopa 1 week, then week 2, use something else like ashwagandha. Or you could just start with something, add something, leave it there for a week, and then add something else. And that was my way of going about it. When I approached the Racetams, man, I was way too impatient to actually know what works, right? Just figured, have the Racetam, Paracetam first, added Aniracetam for a week. Then I think I added Oxyracetam. Then I added Pramiracetam. I really had confidence. And you notice there's this nice synergy. So guys, these are pretty light nootropics in a lot of cases. You read, and a lot of people just read the comments and they see people getting really good results with nootropics, and then they try them, they don't notice anything. Yeah, they're pretty subtle. So point being, just don't be too concerned, right? A quick dissolve B12 is great for energy. Yeah, that's interesting. I've not been using B12 or vitamin B lately. I mean, it's in most pre-workout supplements, but definitely two super important things that you get from your diet: vitamin B and vitamin D, especially now we got the winter time. Can I put lion's mane? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna block this guy. Sorry, man, but you brought this on yourself. I'll put you on timeout, whatever that means. All right, cool. Any reliable? Yeah, no questions like that. Do you ever take a day off where you just won't take anything at all? Excuse me. Yes, with the exception of caffeine or pre-workout supplements like L-tyrosine. So typically when I'm traveling, I won't bring many nootropics. Maybe I'll bring some Rhodiola Rosea. Helps me with fatigue. If I'm attending a conference, I'll use that one a lot. I'll use Alpha GPC. But as far as it depends, like, what you define as a nootropic. Do you consider L-tyrosine a nootropic? Do you consider caffeine a nootropic? I have taken caffeine every single day, I think, for 2 years straight, which probably is not a good thing, but that's okay. I'm human. We have a guilty pleasure. And I like the fact that it really does boost up my mood, and also does help me when I'm intermittent fasting. Plus, I respond really well to it. So it's not as important as you may think. I think we're thinking like our parents here, guys. We're beyond that. This is 2022, getting into 2023, right? Best way to cycle Tongkat Ali? That's a great question. So with Tongkat Ali, I didn't used to think that we needed to cycle it. Now I am occasionally cycling it. I'm making sure that I have tribulus during that time when I'm taking time off of it. So what that looks like is typically like, for me, I'm structuring it to be like 10 weeks Tongkat Ali, followed by 2 weeks off. And then that seems to be good. Yeah, you really do notice, guys, if Tongkat Ali is not giving you the same boost that it was originally giving you, it's most likely the case, and you definitely need to take a break. So just have the discipline, whatever, put it on the shelf for a month. That's what happened with me. I put it on the shelf, and now I respond really well to even a small dose of 100 milligrams. You feel stronger. You feel happier. You wake up with more energy. Once you reintroduce it back into your daily regimen, like Tongkat Ali, don't sleep on it for testosterone. It's freaking good. You need less sleep. That's how you know it's working. Instead, I'm somebody, I need like 7 hours. Typically, I can get away with 6.5 hours. I'm not saying I should, thanks to taking something like Tongkat Ali. What do you think is the best nootropic for brain damage? So well, first let's talk about research, right? Racetam has some good research behind it, helping that way to like reverse any damage that's happened. Racetam as well. I've seen a study on acetyl L-carnitine, which was interesting. Yeah, those three come top of mind. I would give those a shot. Definitely Racetam, because it's something, it's something which I think that's like one of the original uses of Racetam back in the day, right? Best nootropic to help support mood disorder and energy levels, social anxiety, etc. Wow, that's like a whole stack. But I can share with you like the stack, which is really, kind of like the foundational stack that I've been really enjoying, like for mood support. Rhodiola Rosea, Bacopa Mineri. Ashwagandha isn't that important, so no. So just Rhodiola Rosea, Bacopa Mineri, Alpha GPC, Paracetam, and Aniracetam. I think like those 5 are just really, really good. And then the rest just comes to, how your day goes. Of course, if you have longer work days, then I would recommend you use that stack twice. It's a very like versatile stack that allows you to have work ethic, also be ambitious, also be energized, and really important, and like, or more importantly, even just having your general like stable mood where things don't put you off, and you can stay focused, right? Thanks to your work in your videos, nootropics have changed my life. Let's go. L-tyrosine, caffeine, Alpha GPC, lion's mane, ashwagandha, rhodiola, synthevated, B12, D3, saw palmetto, and fish oil. What's happened with the saw palmetto? Because that's super interesting. But yeah, speaking of which, so like in that last stack, I didn't include ashwagandha. Ashwagandha does not fall in my top 10 nootropics. I would not be using something like ashwagandha if I was like building up my career. Like now, I've built my career to some extent. Now I'm able to reflect back. I'm able to make tweaks. I work on like systems and such. I'm not necessarily like boots on the ground. I'm using ashwagandha more so, but just be careful with that one, because it's like twice a day I'll see the comment, I stopped using ashwagandha and everything's working better for me now. I'm back in action. I'm not lethargic. I'm not tired. So be careful with that one. You got to know yourself. But I have like just tested this many times that I've removed ashwagandha. I've also removed ashwagandha and Bacopa, and my mood just substantially drops every time. So just be accepting of that. There could be some sort of withdrawal that you get. I'm not saying there is. It's just a guess, right? Do you find that do you like stims that you find in pre-workouts like Alpha Yohimbine, PA? Just caffeine. I don't like how a lot of them make me feel. They're also pretty uncomfortable, and yeah, you feel nervous a lot of the time, especially with Yohimbine. Yohimbine, you never want to, or for most people anyway, I think like 90% of the people don't touch weights when you're on Yohimbine. And definitely don't do high intensity interval training. You don't realize like how uncomfortable it is just on your heart. And the rest of them, not really. PEA, super overrated. PEA, when you mix it with caffeine, you can get like a really good mood boost and focus, but even that, it's not consistent. You can't even count on it every time. So I think PEA is like super overrated. Urea, I don't know how to pronounce it. Urea Jurensis. I need a memory jogger on that one. I think I have used it a few times though. And you're not asking too many questions. Just you can cut out the fillers, just like I cut out the fillers. Any nootropic supplements known to increase oxytocin? Absolutely nothing. The only way is using a syringe, which they've done in studies. Suggesting taurine increases sociability. Some people use oxytocin sprays. Yeah, I don't know about oxytocin sprays. Maybe that's something newer. But the way that I originally just learned about it, research it, is, yeah, injectable. But hey, the easiest way to boost your oxytocin and higher oxytocin, better mood, feeling warm, you go and hug someone. So the pandemic's probably over. Go find somebody and give them a warm hug. Hug your mother, right? Is there a need to cycle ashwagandha? For most people, yes, myself included. 8 weeks on, 2 weeks off. This is one nootropic where I typically don't take when I'm traveling, so that's a good way for me to take time off of it. And just, know yourself. If you're somebody that's been using it twice a day or 3 times a day, there's nothing wrong with even just adjusting it to 1 time a day. Use the Shodan. Guys, don't sleep on ashwagandha Shodan. It is so good. I'm using it every day, 120 milligram capsules. You can get it at nootropicsdepot.com. I've not tried Shodan anywhere else, but use it once before you sleep, 120 milligrams, like within half an hour. And like, man, less instances of waking up in the middle of the night, waking up recharged. It's very different than the typical forms of ashwagandha. I've actually tried using it in the middle of the day, and it didn't fatigue me or tire me out as much as I expected. Do you take a sleep stack? Yes. So lemon balm extract, lemon balm, love it. Shodan, and I take Tribulus. And sometimes if I have it in stock, I don't really care about it that much. ZMA. So that's zinc, magnesium. And it does work well. It doesn't work wonders. A lot of people look for supplements, for stacks to help them with sleep and don't find results. Like, yeah, sleep it's a complicated puzzle, and a lot of things just unfortunately don't do too well. But what does work well is that, or what's worked well with me is something called carbohydrate backloading. So what you do is you actually take the majority of your carbohydrates and you put them towards the end of the day, because carbs raise serotonin, makes you tired. I found that that's worked really well for me. I learned about that about 4 years ago. But prior to that, when I was eating throughout the day, eating my more carbohydrate heavy meals in the beginning of the day, I wasn't sleeping well. Waking up at 3 a.m. and just kind of forcing myself to go to sleep. So you got to fine tune that. These few supplements, they only help a little bit. I'm talking like 20%. A lot of people still use melatonin daily, which I don't recommend. I don't think that is safe. You can use melatonin, like I'm using it maybe once a month, right? And it's nice seeing you guys here. Like, you can always count on people here. It's good. I'm glad you guys are getting value from the channel. I really enjoy making these videos and enjoy covering different topics. I'm learning too. I appreciate all the comments. I'm doing all the comments, just so you know, on the YouTube videos. If you guys want a time-sensitive answer, you can put it in the Discord. You can Instagram DM me. But if you put it in a comment, I typically review my comments, I think every Tuesday and every Friday, right? So you got to make your question public, because other people will probably have the same question as you, right? So don't be selfish. Put yourself out there, and you'll be able to get some value, right? And sorry if you send me an Instagram DM. It's like now there's too many spam and just companies trying to sell me stuff that I have to do a better job with that. Sorry, guys. Any recommended stack to combine alongside for Tongkat Ali for enhanced results? So assuming that you're using Tongkat Ali to boost your testosterone levels, ashwagandha is ashwagandha is good for a lot of people. Like 60% of people, maybe they respond well to it if you're using them for testosterone. Tribulus, if you get it from Now Foods, or excuse me, Now Sports, that's a great supplement to use, like 1,000 milligrams of it. That's typically how you find in the capsules, maybe 750 milligrams, and then it's good, right? Thoughts on carnivore diet? Ooh, it doesn't look like a good diet if your goal is to live a very long and healthy life. Like I do study about anti-aging from time to time, and everything about the carnivore diet. Yeah, maybe you'll feel right, but it doesn't look healthy in the long run. You need to cycle Shilajit for muscle gain / energy. Would you say Shilajit, Tongkat are all you need? Okay, first of all, no, they're not all you need. These are not supplements which are going to help you with muscle gain. What we know to be effective for muscle gain? Creatine. Go back, use creatine as all the studies done on it. Beta alanine is great. And then make sure you're, of course, eating enough protein, like whey protein isolate right after your workout. Yeah, there's some good studies on it. 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is on the lower side. You can go up to 1.5, but Shilajit, no, it's not absolutely necessary. It just really depends on how you respond to it. I noticed a lot of people ask these questions about cycling things. I think a general good rule to follow is the more you feel something, the more important it is for you to actually cycle off of it. And also being especially mindful of, are you building a tolerance to it? Do you feel any different, using it 7 days after your day 1? Can Semax be beneficial for learning, and does it have mood boosting effects? Semax can be beneficial for learning and can be beneficial for execution. It is a great nootropic. I used it several years in a row, and then it just became hard to find that I didn't really care for it anymore. But it's like I look at it like Many times a better form of Noopept, because Noopept we know it'll typically work for 2 to 3 hours. Then we need to take some more Noopept. Sometimes we feel it, sometimes we don't. We get a we get a good acute response. We can focus, we can defocus on other things. But Semax, you can find it. You can see that it helps more so on the learning side versus the execution side, which you'll find with Noopept. It's more kind of heavily weighted that way. And like most importantly, you feel like yourself. Your judgment isn't impaired. You're able to have patience with people. So it's a great nootropic if you can get your hands on it. Yeah. What's the closest nootropic to caffeine without side effects? Probably theocrine or using L-tyrosine along with like another stimulant. But yeah, that's a tough one. If you're just not responding well to caffeine capsules, you can always try change. You can always try having coffee. Know what kind of coffee works well with you. And the other thing is high caffeine green tea. I love it. Really helps me with productivity, but just not so much for like the physical energy. Saw palmettos for hair growth and prostate health. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I've heard lemon balm is bad for your thyroid. Are you worried about that? I didn't know about that. I'm going to look that up. But I get my blood work checked every 6 months. Since I've introduced lemon balm, I've not noticed anything different because I'm actually getting the data. But that's something to pay attention to. Also, I'm taking a pretty low dose. I can't remember what the dose is, but just one one. It's not a capsule. It's like one tablet just before bed. Helps a little bit. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's why I sell homes. I have like 50 to 70 supplements. Is it okay to have 8 to 10 supplements per day, but cycling different kinds of supplements in small portions? Yes. No. Or one supplement needs to be taken every day. Okay, well, this goes back to, hey, know what you respond well to, right? Try the nootropics first. If you don't respond well to something, that's okay. You want to take 30 nootropics at the same time, that's okay, right? It all is just how you know what it is. First of all, is it a stimulant? Get to know that, and then if it's not a stimulant, then in most cases, people are just over cautious. One of my best videos I made, which I was kind of disappointed, didn't do too well. It was 50 takeaways from 50,000 subscribers. Maybe the title wasn't that catchy to get views, but like I worked really hard on that video, like insights, experience, like, and if people actually watch the first minute, you watch the whole thing. So I answered these commonly asked questions. You guys should definitely check out that video. It was yeah, a lot of value. We try to keep this value packed, right? I'm taking small amount of Yohimbine. It's causing me to shake a little when combined with caffeine. Is that expected? Absolutely. Yohimbine is, you get anxious, you get shakes, you get jitters, you feel this nervous energy and this anxiety, but you feel motivated at the same time, right? So it's kind of like in that situation when you're nervous, but your goals are so important that you can kind of push through and you can go after. That's how you feel with Yohimbine, because a lot of people recognize that I was anxious. They would just tell me like, Mike, you seem anxious, right? And your body language. And that was the case, but I didn't notice because I was in the moment and I was just on my grind. So Yohimbine, yeah, you got to master it. And I would recommend you watch the video where I talked about Yohimbine. The other thing, Vanessa, is mixing it with L-tyrosine is very, very, yeah, it's a very good practice, a very good tool. Combining those three together is like supposed to be the master equation for fat loss, for removing stubborn body fat. Like there was a time, like I think the first time I was trying to get below 10% body fat, that was really what got me there. It was fasted cardio 2 times a week, if not more. Just low intense LISS, so like super low intensity, 300 calories, Yohimbine, L-tyrosine, caffeine, and then 30 minutes later, getting on a treadmill or an elliptical. And your stubborn body fat, it's like all the blood, you get the blood flow there, and it just makes it easier to pull the fat cells, to pull the fat out of the fat cells into the bloodstream. And yeah, it works. So I hope that people are using Yohimbine for that purpose, because if you're using Yohimbine for productivity, doesn't work that well. And then the other problem with Yohimbine, use it at like 6 o'clock and it'll keep you up. It's even worse than caffeine when it comes to insomnia. Best antioxidants for the brain goes back to diet. Blueberries, I eat blueberries every single day, no exceptions. Dark chocolate, I eat that every single day too. Green tea, and yeah, you should really look up superfoods, spend some time there. I was researching on quinoa today. Shout out to quinoa. And just health is so important. If you find, if you have people in your circle that are like health obsessed, just don't let go of them, because they're really good influences on you, and just go and thank them. I've heard good things about people using D-ribose and Glycine for fatigue. Very common, especially in workout products, whether that's post-workout and pre-workout. Do you have any experience with these and supplements, or were they effective? Okay, so from my research on both of them, there is some evidence that they can help with muscle hypertrophy, and specifically through the mTOR pathway, but I've not noticed anything from it. In terms of like the mean, a lot of these supplements that you see that are going to tell you that you're going to help with building muscle, very often they're not doing much. I would just stick to a good pre-workout supplement. You can use them, just if it's enough to get you going and get you on like a 30-day strict regimen of weight training, right? Have you read The Plant Paradox? I don't know anything about his protocol. Which nutritional deficiencies do you believe may play a role in developmental disabilities, disorders like autism spectrum disorder or Down syndrome? Stick to I was going to say processed food. Stick to unprocessed foods, and depends where you are. I'm not necessarily somebody who believes that everything should be organic, right? Any nootropics any thoughts on the dangers certain nootropics can have, specifically some dopaminergic precursors causing downregulation over time and 5-HTP on serotonin downregulation? Not really. I think it just depends. So I would recommend, if you have any just thoughts about that, like with your dopaminergic system, see how you respond to L-tyrosine, see how you respond to methylpurines, see how you respond to N-acetyl-L-tyrosine. That can really just tell you a lot, because there's people that are using a lot, like 2 to 3 grams of L-tyrosine every single day. And who knows if they're balancing it out with the right amount of serotonin. Like, you want to keep them somewhat balanced, or that's what the research says as far as serotonin levels and your dopamine levels, right? So that's why I'm not using more than like 1.5 grams of L-tyrosine every single day. As far as canned supplements, can you use something like 5-HTP, take too much of it, get serotonin syndrome? I don't know. I think that's kind of like an overhype phenomenon, right? C-Lank, no, but seems like Semax. I would just use Semax instead if I was you. What is chelated magnesium used for? I'm pretty sure I've seen this one in pre-workout, but everything's going back to pre-workout products, but I don't actually know. Have you ordered the ND Cognizance Nubo? Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I got to make an order. So if anyone knows what else I should be ordering, just put it in our Discord server, because I'll be trying that, and then got to get some more Alpha GPC from the good ND, because with Alpha GPC, I've learned, like, with experience, you kind of take it depending on how you're feeling. Like, you use modafinil, whatever, you want to use some more Alpha GPC, right? But you definitely always do that. I think it's just a really important supplement for you to have for your overall supplement stack. So using that twice, sometimes 3 times a day, that's my general practice. Yeah, I'm liking Cistanche though. There was I think for about a month, I stopped taking Cistanche. I reintroduced it back into my stack. And that's sometimes when you just get crystal clear and like, wow, this thing actually works. In my head, a lot less. But Cistanche I use with the expectation it would boost my testosterone levels, or I would feel something from it. Like, I'm super sensitive to all things testosterone. I used to have low testosterone. I was on TRT for a short amount of time. Saw my testosterone go like this and then drop back down. And so there's good, healthy practices you can have. Supplements, of course, eating right, getting a good mix of your fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, sleeping right? All those things is good. What do you take? Do you notice any benefits from CDP choline compared to Alpha GPC? Just like you would expect, simply not as effective. You can try taking more CDP choline, but it doesn't do the magic that Alpha GPC does. That's my experience. The best nootropics for anxiety, ashwagandha, L-theanine, Rhodiola Rosea, and Bacopa mineri. For most people, if they're actually feeling anxious, irritable, not feeling good, they can use a combo of L-theanine at 100 milligrams. Oh, excuse me. L-theanine at 200 milligrams and Rhodiola Rosea at 500 milligrams. And their state will completely change within 15 minutes. I tried this with a friend, works. So very, very powerful. And I'm typically taking my Cistanche first thing in the morning. That's a great thing with this nootropic. You can take it fasted, and that's for most nootropics out there. Don't be too nervous about using them in a fasted state. There's the few exceptions to that, which you don't want to take in a fasted state. Tongkat Ali, green tea extract, fish oil, R-alpha lipoic acid. There's probably a few other ones, but I'm very careful in my language, and when I make the videos and I talk about a nootropic, the warnings are all there. Don't take this fasted. Don't take this fasted. Like, I'm fasted right now, for example, right? So I'm good. Why is Alpha GPC better than CDP choline? I don't know. Look at the price tag. Thanks for the NZT48 combo for NZT48. Made a video on that too. It's like the limitless stack. It's actually really, really good. So L-theanine, L-tyrosine, caffeine plus Alpha GPC. See, the thing is with this nootropic stack, the NZT48 effect assumes that it works for the whole day. This is a stack which will last you maybe 3-4 hours max. That's the problem with this. So maybe it's NZT48, use it twice a day, then you're good. 900 milligrams daily safe. I would say it's on the higher side, but it's still safe. Maybe take a break here and there. Just use 200 to 300 milligrams on like the weekends, right? I thought lion's mane was good for anxiety too. Yeah, I would put it up there just with lion's mane. A lot of people don't get that immediate effect that they want in terms of you're taking something to shut down that anxiety, that on the moment anxiety, or something you can just generally take for you to lower your like overall anxiety levels, like the way you're waking up, the way you're feeling throughout the course of the day. Then lion's mane could definitely be a good one. Some say choline increases. Okay, cool. How many capsules are you taking in a day? Maybe like 20. I'll take like maybe 10 to 15 in the morning. For example, I'll take my thyroid. I'll take my Wellbutrin. I'll take L-tyrosine. What else do I take? I'll take my Tribulus terrestris, and then I'm taking a pre-workout supplement. But there's definitely some other capsules too. Like there's N-acetylcysteine when I'm using it. I'm using acetyl L-carnitine. That one's okay, right? It's funny when people ask that. Like, I think they want to know that they're safe taking a lot of supplements, and I cannot make that decision for you. Okay, cool. I've noticed a huge improvement in mood with Bacopa, but have you noticed any demotivation? As I've heard some stories of it doing that. 100%. Ashwagandha, Bacopa Mineri, and lion's mane. Those are like the 3 nootropics when it comes to potential demotivation. Happens a lot. And with Bacopa Mineri, it just depends on you. I'm very aware that it does demotivate me to some extent, but just try to look at the brighter side of things. It makes me in a better mood, which is going to make me more likely to be consistent and not hating my work. Because at the end of my day, I want to feel fulfilled and look forward to the following workday. And that's a sign that should I cycle off of ashwagandha? Yeah, same answer that I had mentioned for the previous nootropics. I apologize about that. You probably just came on late, guys. Don't mind giving this a like. The best favor you can do for me is share this channel with somebody that you know. Of course, I'm on Instagram. I'll try to post more stories if that's what you want. DM me, and I appreciate you guys more than you know. We'll do these live streams more often if you do find value from them, of course. If you don't find value from them, we can just stick to the videos. But I don't mind hopping on live and answering some of these questions. And if you just take a look back at some of my previous live streams, I think that'll really just sprint up, if you're new to this whole nootropic journey, you want to just learn everything. You want to know kind of like the tidbits and the short form of every nootropic. Just watch a couple of my past live streams, because some of my best like nootropic students and people who know their stuff, they were people that were consistently on the live streams when I started doing them. I love you all. I respect you all. You guys are the best, and have a great day.